So Ready Set Love is a Thai drama that came out last year. It stars, what is his name again? Blue Pong Tiwat as the male lead, and the female lead is played by Bel Kemi Sara Kaladesh. And then there are a whole host of other characters. The drama is like a dystopian drama set in the future. So basically, globally, male babies are not really being born, more female babies are being born. And so in Thailand, the solution to that is basically to create this game show called Ready, Set, Love, which allows women to compete for these men's love and affection and eventually marriage. Um, in the TV show, the elites are more likely to actually get married to the men than ordinary people. And so in this year that the show is being produced, they're having a lotto. So any ordinary girl can basically fall into the lotto and, try and get into the game show. And our main character, Day, she's not interested in all this stuff. She thinks it's all really ridiculous. She has a younger sister called May who has terminal cancer. And her sister's a huge fan of all five of these, boys who are in this competition. And her sister's trying to put in the lotto. And at first you assume she's doing it because she wants to get into it, but she's
Right.
actually doing it for her older sister.
Yes.
And so her sister goes out to eat with one of her friends called Valentine. And then while she's out, eating, enjoying her food and everything, the big screen opens up and it's like, hey, Gay is the lotto winner. And she's like, no way am I in this game. I did not, I don't want to compete. She goes home. Her younger sister's like, I actually put you into the lotto. Yeah, yeah. I think you're lonely and you need a man. She's
Right.
like, she's freaking out. She eventually does decide to go, because she's like, my younger sister wants me to. It will be fun.
Well, it's a
Who's to
great
know if I'm
move.
gonna
So
enjoy it?
why
It's a great
not?
move. Why not just go ahead and go into this lotto game? So she goes into this game. She's really shabbily dressed compared to everybody else because she doesn't really want to be there.
She's
So
here for the
she's
buffet.
there.
That's who she's here for.
All she's there is for food. She loves to eat. She kind of reminds me of the female lead from I Love You, which is a Japanese drama. That female lead also loved to eat. Like she just loves food so much. So
Right.
she's just there eating and everything. And then the games start, and the first few games are pretty much trying to eliminate people from the game. There are a lot of women there. So she
I
starts
think
playing
there's
the
up to 50
games.
and she's the 50th that
Yeah,
got
50th,
contested.
exactly. Yes. So they start playing the games, and the games are all to do with the boys. So you have to know, you have to be like a fangirl of them to know a lot of the answers for the questions. So what
Hmm.
she tries to do, because she's not trying to be like immediately eliminated, she's actually trying to make a little bit of an effort. She just kind of waits around, lets all the other girls kind of answer the question and kind of just observes the environment to try and see like what the correct answer would be. And
Hmm.
so first few times she actually gets into it and like it's all, pretty good and everything. Um and then eventually like she ends up like kind of winning the game. And she gets to a point where she's like, I actually don't even want to leave because she tries to leave. And the producer of the game is like, you have a sister that has terminal cancer, right? She's like, yes. She's like, if you like stay and you potentially win, like we can get her treatment. She might not even have to die. And
Right.
that is what convinced her to actually stay in the game and actually make an effort. Um, in addition to that, she actually meets the male lead, Son, earlier while she's at the game show. She tries to use the restroom because she's eaten too much, so she kind of has like a really upset stomach.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
so
yeah.
she's running around and she ends up at the urinals, which obviously is like the guy's room. But she's looking at it and she's like, I don't know what this is.
Yes,
And
because
then
the
while she,
outside of these walls is only
yeah,
women, so they
it's
don't
only
have
women. They
to
don't
deal with
have
like men
all that
bathrooms at
stuff.
all.
So she has no clue what she's looking at. And then she sees Son at the urinal and he's looking at her like, what are you doing here? Are you a creep or something? And she's like, no, I'm just trying to use the restroom. So they like lock eyes. She like runs out and everything. And then in the second stage of the game, it's about, the girls kind of like meeting the guys and seeing if the guys will kind of want them to stay in the game. And
Hmm.
so she ends up actually meeting Son again in the game, and she's thinking, oh, this guy's gonna want to like kick me out, but let me try and convince him that I'm worth, kind of like fighting for. And he's just looking at her like, I think you're a stalker. I saw you in the urinals. You're probably a creep. He's seen her like gorging on food too. He doesn't really have a good analysis of who she is
Impression.
as a
Yeah.
person. But then he sees her with this necklace and he's looking at it like, that's familiar. Like, why would you have that necklace? And well, long story short, when they were both kids, they actually met when they
Hmm.
were children because Song was trying to run away from the farm where all these boys are kept until they're of age to kind of participate in this game show. And they meet as kids, and she kind of helps him out and is like, you're my little meow meow, my little cat. I'm gonna like
Yes.
take care of you and stuff like that. And so he remembers her really fondly, but she doesn't remember who he is just by seeing the necklace. Like she's not really
Right.
paying much attention to him. She's thinking about her sister and winning the game. So she's not really, looking at him that closely or looking at what he's
Right.
wearing.
But
And
even
so
then, he
that's
didn't
why,
recognize her either until he saw
until
the
I saw the
necklace.
necklace,
Hmm.
exactly. And so because of the necklace, he decides to keep her in the game, even though at first he would have thought, I want nothing to do with this crazy lady. No, he tries to keep her in the game. And he's like immediately sort of intrigued by her because he's like, what's been happening to you like all these years? Like, why have you somehow ended up here? Do you know what I mean? Like it's also like by chance, just like the lotto
Right.
thing, like her winning by chance, then meeting again this many years later by chance is all sort of like shocking for him. And what was quite interesting, like during all of the games, because when they were already playing a lot of the games, he now knows who she is. He
Hmm.
feels this like bonding connection to her, and she's kind of at first kind of creeped out by it because she's like, "Why is he so like into me?" And like
Right.
people are telling me that he likes me, I don't get it. How? We've
Right.
barely interacted. She's very confused about the whole thing. And still her main goal was just to save her sister and to win the game. She's not focused on him.
Right.
So aside from her, the main character, we also have a second female lead called Chanel.
Hmm.
She is the head honcho of the game. Her
Yes.
daughter. She's one of the elites, one of the people that's supposed to win the game and also eventually marry the male lead, which
Right.
has been planned by her mother. The elites marry the one of the chosen boys and they live happily ever after.
And there's like a whole
And
political thing also that the game is fixed. So
it's
regardless
fixed
of whatever
exactly.
it is, the
The
elites will
elites are
eventually
always
win
going to
out.
win. They
Hmm.
always win out. Not that people are aware of this, but obviously Chanel is. So when you first meet Chanel, you can just tell she's very like self-absorbed and she knows she's going to win this game. So she's not very
Hmm.
like into it. She's not making much of an effort. But as time goes on, there's a dude called Max, and he pretty much instantly falls in love with Chanel,
Yes.
and she is the only one for him. Like he's not looking for anybody else.
Instant,
Like
instant love.
love, instant love, and they're allowed to date like other people during the game. They can like swap partners, all this stuff. But he's only thinking about Chanel. Like
Hmm.
even if he's on another date with somebody else, it's only Chanel. Chanel isn't focused on him because she knows she has to eventually marry Son. And she kind of like ignores Max a lot of the time and not really listening to him or paying a lot of attention
Because
to
all of
him.
that is orchestrated by her mom. Her mom wants a specific man, not
She's like,
anyone.
I want Son. Max? Who's Max? I don't know who Max is. I
Right.
want you to be with Son. And Son is also like aware of what's going on, but he's been invited to their house multiple times to have
Hmm.
dinner to kind of like try and get him to have conversations with Chanel, get to know her a little bit more. So he
Right.
he already knows that he also knows the game is rigged as well, which is why as much as he does pay a lot of attention to Day in the game, he's also a little bit reserved because he's like, well, ultimately, I'm not going to be able to be with you. So what's the
Right.
point of trying to make an
It's
effort to get closer to you in
it's
the same way?
all in vain, essentially.
Exactly. But he
Ugh.
also can't help but try. Like he's not trying, but he's also trying because he's like, I
Right.
do want to get closer to her and
And
I
it's
do
also
like
around,
her
like
and I
in
am
the
interested in her.
meantime, while you're here, let me enjoy your company while we're
Exactly.
together here.
Exactly. He's like, I want to enjoy your company. I want to, I want all the vibes, the good vibes, all that stuff.
Oh, and they
So
give good vibes. They do. They do.
they have great vibes. Like they vibe so well. Because at first you're thinking, oh, they're from two completely different worlds. Like how can they connect? But that childhood connection and that kind of like thing in both of them, where it's like I don't even want to be here, is
Right.
very much apparent for both of them. So they're definitely like building a bond around that as well
Right.
without even really realizing it. I
And I
didn't
also
realize it
love
until the end.
And I also love that, they both come out kind of fake because for the longest time, she doesn't disclose the real reason why I've been trying to win this game is because I'm trying to do this so that my sick sister can get the best help. Because on the farm, the government takes care of all of them. So if she marries one of these men, then her sister will be taken care of. That is her real
Exactly.
driving force. But she doesn't tell him that. She's just like, upon one of their dates that she chose him for, was just like, I just want to get to be on the farm and be with you. And he's like, that sounds so insincere. That sounds so,
Yeah.
since we already know on the flip side, he doesn't want to be there anyway, but he also has this fake persona of
Yeah.
being like this heartthrob kind of person when he already knows that the game is rigged. He already
Yeah.
hates being there, period. He's already escaped. We already know this. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of funny how they are so parallel in so many ways
They
with that.
are.
And so when
Yeah.
they're eventually both able to be transparent with each other, that they're able to be their actual real selves. And that's where the real love starts for them.
Yes. When they can be fully open with each other about why they're there, what they're doing, and what their goals are, that's when they really fall in love. And that happens around it's like 6 episodes, this drama.
Yeah,
Around
so
episode
midway,
four,
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Around episode four, they start to actually acknowledge those feelings and be like, okay, we're actually way more similar than we ever thought we were, right?
Right.
So not only are we sort of childhood sweethearts in this really strange,
Yes.
eerie way, but we also are very like connected
Very,
subconsciously, which
very
makes the
much
relationship
so.
make sense. So that's a lot of fun. And then Chanel also had this best friend called Bovie, who was like really close to her. And
Oh,
Bovie's
oh,
main goal appears to be to make Chanel the happiest she can be,
it seems that
pretty
way.
much. It seems that way. Bovie isn't really there for herself, I don't think. There is a point in time where she says that she likes Max, but the way that I've interpreted that scene is that it's really just about getting Chanel to acknowledge that she might actually also have feelings for Max,
Yes.
rather than actually try and get with Max herself.
Yes,
So
I
that's
think
where
also
Bovie's
with
going.
Bobby and with a lot of these men, it's kind of like meeting your idol. And like if you were that
Mm.
person being your idol, how would you be and how would you react? How authentically yourself would you be in that
Yes, because you want to be
situation?
your best self. You're like, they're my idol. I don't want them to like judge me and stuff
Right.
like that.
And
So
so
that
like
fangirl
that's
aspect of it.
right. And so you have like this dream like ideal of what your idol would be. And so
Yeah,
is different when you actually fall for the actual person that that idol is,
exactly.
not the
Yeah,
persona you see on stage. This is
not
completely
the idea
different.
of them.
And so I think that's what also Bobby had came across because she was already coming there for Max because I think like with her being a pop star, she was a pop star, right? And
Yeah.
she was and also an heiress to a company like hotels or something.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
Max was just being shirtless Max. Max is
Yeah.
the hot one.
The
And so I think
bimbo.
the himbo for
The
sure.
himbo.
And so adorable himbo, but he was a himbo nonetheless.
The himbo. Yeah, yeah.
But with Bovie, I think it was just like when it came to the ideal of what she liked about Max versus what her friend actually fell for regarding because
Yeah.
the thing about this is that even the chemistry, I'm sure like her watching them talking during that through that window, like at the pool, could see that
Yeah.
this is way deeper than just like a fangirl kind of like fixation on him. Like, no, they
Yeah.
did concrete feelings to where she was feeling threatened for a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think like what outshone that was that her friendship for Chanel won out because Chanel had protected her so often because she was always ostracized when they were younger, and Chanel had protected
Yeah.
her. So I think it
Yeah.
was kind of like I owe you that to be happy. That's my
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
And
I won't take away that happiness from you.
absolutely. And I think it's also in the long run, it's just like, yeah, she probably would have been happy with Max, but probably not because Max already had, tough
Yeah.
for Chanel,
Oh yeah, like
vice versa.
Max was like, I think there was a point in time where Chanel went to Max and was like, Bobby likes you like a lot, right? He's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, who wouldn't know? Like the sky knows that Bobby likes me, but I like you. I don't care.
Right.
Like he's like, he does not care at all. He's like,
At
so,
all. You
but
are my number one concern. Like that's it. Because what was it? It was when they arrived in the luggage, and then like
Yeah.
Max and her locked eyes. I was like, wait, because she turned her head and looked back at him. I'm like,
Yes.
okay, okay. So you're
Uh-huh.
not quite the mean girl that we were originally thought you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I also loved about this drama. Not everything was as it seemed.
Yes. I remember when I like because I watched it based on your recommendation. I
Uh-huh.
remember I was like messaging you, you were like, not everything is as it seems. Like none of these characters are exactly as they appear at first.
Because you
Which
were
is
asking
so
me
true.
about the I call her the game warden, but you know the producer
Yeah, the
lady.
producer. I was like, oh, I want. She's like so awful, and I was like sending you like a meme where I think I like kicked her in the face or something, and you were like, she's actually not that bad.
I was just like,
Um,
just give it another episode. I won't tell
you
you
know
what.
what I mean?
Watch,
Yeah,
keep
because
watching, but
it's
yeah,
really easy to like judge these characters at first because the way they appear, like Chanel appears like a horrible person, the producer appears like this really malevolent person as well. But you
mm,
suddenly realize they're all being manipulated by the system. Like everybody is, even
right.
Chanel. Like
And
her
by her
own
mom
mother,
too. That's a
her
main.
mother is traumatizing her. Like her mother's like, you're kind of losing the game at the moment. Like you might not be able to get with Son, so you better like do something. And it
Mhm.
makes Chanel cry because she's thinking, I don't actually have any control over my own life.
Right,
Like she's telling me to marry this dude that I don't really care for anyway.
right,
And the dude I do care for, I'm not even allowed to be with.
right. It was like it make it make sense. And the thing that broke my heart was when she was having that heart to heart with Max when it was like their
Mhm.
last day. Because they go onto the farm, I guess, like to test run these cookie cutter
Yeah,
houses. Of like
yeah,
it felt very Stepford wife, very
yeah,
straight line, clean, nothing out of place, perfect.
yeah,
And you see all these families playing with their daughters, of course, not sons, because the sons are pretty much being farmed literally
yeah,
elsewhere.
yeah,
And she had this breakdown, ironically enough, with Max about how she had always chased her mother for acceptance and love. And the
yeah.
only time her mother said that she was proud of her was for securing Son. Nothing else she has done has ever been good enough but securing a man.
Like that is so depressing. Like
Yes,
of course the girl would cry. Of course the girl would be depressed and a little bit, closed off with that kind of familial experience.
right.
And like that Stepford wife scene as well, where they all go into the houses and kind of checking them out, reminded me of the Black Mirror episode Nosedive, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's set in like American suburbia, and everything is perfect, and like everybody's being like rated, on their like little phones with like their
Yes,
social stuff, and it's like that is actually a nightmare. Like nobody actually wants that life. Nobody
right.
actually wants perfection. Perfection is scary.
It
Like
is.
you need a little bit of mess. You need a little bit of mistakes. You know what I mean? It keeps things
Right.
fun. It keeps things exciting. Perfection is boring. And
Absolutely.
when you require that from society, it's even worse. And nobody can live up to that expectation anyway. So there's
Right.
no point, doing it. And then with the Stepford Wives thing, it reminds me of Almond, who is another one of the five men. And
Mm-hmm.
he develops a thing for Day. Now, Day never really develops a thing for him at all, but he just really likes Day. Like just genuine like, like let's slowly try and like get to know each other.
Yes.
But the problem with Almond is that he's also not very united with the idea of leaving the farm and leaving
Yes.
this life he's always
He
known.
doesn't like
Like
change.
he
He
doesn't
likes
like
things to
change.
be the same. He likes to be in his bubble.
That's
Period.
that's where he feels secure. And so at the end of the show, when the whole gang are kind of together and like we're trying to leave this place and kind of expose the elites and expose how the game is rigged and expose how the farm makes these men suffer, he pretends like he is, in for it and he's also trying to escape and help them, but he's not. He's actually been telling the producer like what they've been doing and like feeding her insider information because
Mhm.
he is really like not keen on, leaving the farm. As you said, he doesn't like change and he wants to stay
Right.
exactly where he is.
And Son had always like had said like had this spidey sense of just like something's
Yeah,
not right because he's always been the rule follower. That's what Almond is the epitome of. And so
yeah,
it's like it's weird that he's coming along with this. And so at first, like I thought he had maybe hopefully had changed his mind about that, especially what all was at stake, and especially the whole other plot we haven't gotten into yet
yeah,
with Valentine and what her purpose is there.
yeah,
It's just that, but the thing about this is that he's just so used to having all of his he's had all his needs met and been
yeah,
fed all of that, and you see that so much in real life about people,
yeah.
even with the facts in front of them, they're still not comfortable with facing that truth full on,
Yes, the
and
reality of
accepting it for
what's
what it
actually
is,
going on. Hmm.
because that will also change the parameters of their own life. They don't like
Yeah,
that. It makes them feel uncomfortable. And so I'm like,
exactly.
that's what this drama was very brilliantly done,
Yes.
because I thought it was just gonna be like this simple kind of thing regarding this reality TV show of finding a dating
Yeah,
thing. And then I realized like, oh, so this is like Hunger Games meets
yeah,
Squid Game and
yeah,
meets anime. And so like
yeah.
what it kind of
Everything connected.
everything is connected, and like it's not as cutthroat because again, like as we peel more layers back, it's like not everything is as it seems.
Yes.
And so there's a whole other things of political intrigue that comes into
Yeah.
play with this that I didn't
Like
realize existed. And I get in all shows or whatever, there's always some kind of political
political, but
ties
it's
to
very
it.
strong in this one. Like it's very
Very much,
apparent. Like it's a very large.
especially towards the end, it gut punches you with it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like part of the main reason Almond also doesn't want to leave is because he believes his mother sort of abandoned him to the farm.
And
And
that's
I
what
do
they have
think
conditioned them all to
him
believe.
to believe. And so he's afraid of meeting his mother again because Valentine, who is Dave's best friend, her mother's trying to connect back with her son that was left at the farm. That son appears to be Almond. Almond is told about this and is like,
I
like
still can't. Mm-mm.
I don't want to meet mommy. Mommy abandoned me. Mommy didn't abandon you. You were lied to. But even after being told he was lied to and it being pretty obvious that he was lied to,
Right.
the aspect of change, the idea of change terrifies him so much that he'd rather just stay put exactly where he is.
Even
And it's
though
really
chaos was now
sad.
erupting because everyone now,
Yes.
because they had made this big presentation and showing them about this is the farm. As much as it's advertised as this golden nirvana that everyone wants to get to, especially after you marry a particular man on that TV show,
Yeah.
to achieve that, this happiness. But it's not all it's cracked up to be because you find out throughout the dramas that a lot of these mothers who eventually do have sons, if you have sons, you have to pretty much register them with the government, then they take your son from you. If you do not agree to give up your son willingly, then they're pretty much going to institutionalize you on the farm and give
Yes.
these coked up drugs to where
Yep.
you lose your mind and pretty much are made to forget that you had this child, and pretty
Exactly.
much, and then they feed the children lies, the son's lies that your mothers willingly gave you up, and you pretty
Yeah.
much is like, and they cook that into their brains, and so that like is what they believe. But
Yes.
it seems that Son's father, who was trying to get him off the farm, which is how he was able to escape the first time, was
Yeah.
already had kind of told him like, no, this isn't what this is supposed to be. This is not
Yeah.
how this works. This is the lies that they're telling you isn't actually true.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to save his son because you do find out that there are men that do exist outside of the farm, that they do
Yes.
kind of a part of an underground of sorts.
Yes. There's this whole underground movement. I forgot, was it which one of the boys meets one of the underground singers?
It's paper. Paper
Paper?
is he's such a sweetheart. I love Paper. He's so adorable.
Yes. Paper meets one of the underground people who is a singer, and it's through the help of Bovey because Bovey really likes music, and
Mm.
Paper likes music too. And so they listen to this song together, and Bovey's like, "Oh, he's these artists. He's like underground or something." Well, Paper leaves where they are. They escape one night with like Day and Son, and Paper goes to meet this underground singer who he also is sort of in love with too because Paper realizes that he is gay
Yes.
during the show. And he's like, "You're underground? Like, what's the whole movement?" He's like, "Well, You were lied to. We weren't. We're rebelling against this elite government that's trying to control people and take people's children.
Right.
And so they have this whole like it's kind of like with Divergent, I guess, another dystopian kind of
Yes.
series.
Yes.
The factionless, they're kind of like the factionless, like the
Yes.
underground people who are like against the mainstream system. And they're also the people that end up helping Valentine and Day and Sun kind of rebel against the elite government while they're still in the competition.
Right.
Which is really hard because the producer's fully aware of what they're trying to do and she's trying to stop them. And she's like, there's no point you doing what you're doing. Because even the producer is pregnant as well.
Yes.
And she's going to have a baby. And I think the baby's a son.
It was
And
going to be a boy.
it's
Mm.
going to be a boy. She's also terrified that the son's going to end up on the farm and going to be taken away from her. She knows how this works.
Well,
So she's
originally she
like,
was fighting it with her wife, because her wife was just like, it was like, hey, there's bad news when they were doing the ultrasound. But then, like, the producer was trying to follow the rules where she was like, I'm going to go ahead and register tomorrow that we're having a boy.
a boy,
And then
yeah.
she's been seeing all the stuff that's been unfolding regarding the boy. She did run into one boy on that's playing on the farm, but playing
Yeah.
with like more like with prison guards, and that is so
Yeah.
sad.
It's sick. Yeah, they have all the little boys wearing these yellow uniforms. And
Yes,
it's like that's terrifying. Like the uniformity, the lack of individualism. Um, Some talked about the fact that when they were growing up, they were all raised to have the perfect diet, the perfect this and perfect that. Like everything is monitored their
mm-hmm.
entire lives, and then they're told this is who you're going to marry to. They have nobody there has any control over their life, and that's what the producer will be putting her child into. And she's
Yes,
terrified, but as you said, she also kind of wants to follow the rules. She kind of
yes,
just doesn't she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. She does not know
right,
what to do or where to turn to. And her wife trying to kind of dissuade her from following the rules, but I mean, she's still really scared. She's
right,
still, and I can understand that, right? The Chanel's mother's all on her back about how the game's going and how she's doing the game and all this kind of stuff, and she's worried about Day potentially winning over Chanel as well. So
right,
there's so much stuff that the Bruce is thinking about that she's like, you guys really are trying to rebel right now. Do you know how much trouble this is going to get us all into? Like
right,
including me, including my child. Like I don't want all this. And I
right.
can understand why she's like that, but at the same time, somebody had to do something eventually. Somebody had to let people know.
Absolutely.
So we left the anti-establishment aspect of the show.
Mm-hmm.
The, Day and Sun and Almond and all the rest of them, Paper included, trying to showcase to the people that, hey, the elites are running this thing. These boys have been mistreated their entire lives, and we're all being lied to. We've been lied to for decades about
Mm-hmm.
the way this whole process works. Um, and I like they put it obviously at like the end of the show, kind of highlighting that this is actually what we've been pointing towards this entire time.
Right,
We want these people to be free. We want these people to be happy, and we want people to be aware of what's going on.
right.
And so a very important moment at that time was May also being taken by Chanel's mother,
Mm-hmm.
and they being told, "Hey, we're gonna take good care of your sister. Like, don't worry." Mm-mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
And then they telling Sun, like, I don't know if we can like do this anymore. Like, if I do what I want to do, how is my sister going to be affected?
Right,
She's their hostage right
right,
now. Like she's there so that I don't do anything because they have a feeling I'm going to want to do something because
right,
they now know what I know. They know that I'm
right.
focused on. They know what we've got going on. They know that I might try and pull something, so they're trying to like manipulate me. Even still, Son helps Day still be able to have the guts to kind of like come out and like say what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows them to basically, kind of live the life they want to live.
Yes,
Chanel's mom's freaking out, like they've just exposed this entire thing. It's a whole mess. It's a whole disaster. While
mm-hmm.
Son and Day are like smiling their asses off, like, ha ha ha, we finally
Yes,
won. Like, my sister's going to be okay, and you're not going to be able to manipulate us any longer. And the ending scene has Son and Day, they are there. They are kind of like just living peaceful lives. They are married. They have a son.
yes.
And then you have Chanel's mother looking at photos,
Mm-hmm.
and she has a photo of the family of three in happiness. And
Yes,
then she also has a photo of Son's father just
yes,
walking. We all
Somewhere
thought that
in the
Son's
woods. He's
father,
just living off the grid or something.
yes, we all thought he was dead. Like there's a scene where, Son's father's helping him escape, and it looks like the Son's father was shot. So
Yeah.
we all thought he was dead. Seeing him in the photo alive, very weird. And the
Right.
mother's just looking at the dad like, hmm. And
Well,
you're
I
just
was thinking
thinking,
like probably like after he had escaped, because this was when he was still a child, and he was
yes,
his father was telling him to go on, son, go ahead and go, and he
yeah,
sees the flare being shot in the sky, so that's the only shot he hears. But as far as I know,
yeah,
like since his dad's a man, he's far too valuable for them to kill. But I think he probably
yeah,
escaped somehow, and that he left, and so son never saw him again, because he's a
yeah.
bad inspiration. He helped his son and son to
Yeah, to
escape.
escape. Yes.
So I think like that's the reason why. But I'm like, I remember like when we were messaging back and forth, I'm like, I'm wondering because the whole aspect of Mrs. Kwan, or Chanel's mother, of her being this
Mm.
domineering, and you can clearly see very unhappy woman, um,
Yes, very happy.
businesswoman, but you can tell she's very unhappy with things. That how she has been operating in a lot of things and pushing her daughter to pick a particular man instead of just whoever she wants to, as long as you are happy. That's all I care
Yeah,
about.
right. That's really
Um, and
important.
and you would think that would be like what true mothers are, but she's not a true mother.
Apparently not. Yeah.
But the theory was is that when Chanel had picked Max, that was her happily ever after. She didn't pick Son, she picked Max and asked
Yeah.
him to marry her. And she went to her mother, and true Blackhorn Baptist, she gets a slap. She gets a slap.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
um,
Yep.
but then she's just like, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and be happy with myself. And so Chanel goes and talks to her father, and her father pretty much says like, thinking like he's like, give your mother a little bit of grace. I think really like what's really made her sad is that she couldn't marry. She was married to someone she didn't love at all. And I'm like, oh, so she wants the same thing
Yeah.
for her daughter. Okay, all right. So,
Like, oh,
so so it makes me wonder, was because she hyper focused on that picture of Son's dad. I'm like, was
yeah,
that so she wanted?
maybe she wanted to marry him and he found a
Yes,
way to somehow escape, so they never got married, and he married somebody else who is Son's mother, obviously. And so she's like, maybe my daughter can be with the son of the guy that I wanted to be with.
right.
In a way, fulfilling her wishes through her daughter, even though that's that guy's son who has a
It
different mother, obviously.
it kind of feels like, what was it, stage moms of the
Yes.
same sort of just like, I'm going to that this wasn't the dream I was able to achieve myself, so I'm going to do it vicariously through my
Through
children.
you, even though I know that this is the person you love, and like obviously this has to do with the person that I love, but
Right,
because he's related to the person that I love, I feel like I'm still fulfilling my desire through you.
right,
But it's like ultimately she doesn't love Sun, so that doesn't help. That's not really even doing what
right.
you think it's doing. You
Or
know what I
maybe
mean?
with like Son's father, maybe because he was already of that mind where like this is whole, like this is BS. I don't want to be a part
Yeah,
of this.
yeah,
Maybe she threw that offer down of like, I want to be with you, and he's like, no, that's okay.
yeah, yeah. I don't want you. Like, sorry. Like in the same way that like Max was like, I don't want Bobby, I don't want you. Like I have one person in mind, and it's definitely not you, and I'm gonna dip. So
Right.
goodbye. So
Absolutely. So
that's
it seems like it's setting up that there's possibly going to be a season two where,
I think so too.
because it seems like
Because
she's
it
going to
came
try and
out
go
last
after
year.
them.
Yes, because it came out last year, and I can absolutely see them doing a season two, exploring Almond and Almond having to maybe like his reality being shattered, and how
Mm-hmm.
exactly he's going to face that. Um, Day and Son and their son, how they're going to be affected by Chanel's mother, Kwan.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't really think we got to see May at the end, so we don't know if she ended up succumbing to the
She didn't.
disease or not.
She didn't, because that was the stipulation with Miss Kwan, Chanel's
Yeah,
mother, taking her. She had surgery, so supposedly she's good. That's why she was able to run. You know, when Day was chasing her around the table, and
yes,
she didn't have her
yeah,
oxygen tank. So
yeah.
she's been cured already.
Okay,
So
okay.
supposedly
So
she's
she's
fine.
good.
She's
Okay.
fine. So like at least that's the impression that was given. So maybe also that might be like season two might shift towards her maybe finding
Yeah, a little bit
her
more.
potential.
Her
I
love,
don't know.
yeah, maybe, maybe.
Maybe
And
like
then even maybe like Max and Chanel and they're married, like I'd be interested in seeing them as like a couple and seeing them like just
yes,
do
Max
their
with
thing
his
and their whole
Disney
dynamic.
self. Oh yeah, we forgot about Max's whole thing about losing his shirt. That was like his whole
Yeah,
shtick.
oh God. Max is a sweetheart, but like we said, he's a himbo at the same time. Like he's a
Big
sweetheart,
time.
but it's like, damn, all you
It's
care about is how you look.
all
And
you look.
Chanel,
And
you
he's like,
know,
I
so
look
it's
pretty, but I look pretty with you. Like I want to be
exactly, let's be
you.
pretty together.
Right. He's like, yeah. At first, like I didn't know how to take Max, and it just seemed like, okay, you seem
Yeah.
like you're vain a lot.
Yeah, that's how I viewed him. That's how I viewed
But
him.
but then you just realize it's like, okay, he's just a little empty upstairs. He's sweet and he's sweet on
He's
her, so
sweet.
I'll take
Yeah,
that.
so that's like it's fine. It's fine.
He's,
He's not the smartest, but he's fine.
she's
He's
like,
fine.
I'll compensate for that. You just look pretty. That's what you do. And we were also talking about during that time, like how this is such a gender swap. This is such a
Oh
role.
yeah, 100%. The
Yes,
girls, it's okay. There's a scene where Son is trying to help Day lift some of her boxes, but they're
yes,
really heavy. And she's like, "Do you need help? Are you okay?" She's like, "I'm good, I'm good." But like, as strong as the guys appear, or as athletic as they appear, they actually have been babied their whole lives and don't really have the strength of like a normal man. Like, Son
yes,
was really struggling to carry that luggage.
yes,
And Day could easily do it. Day also was able to change a car wheel when they were like having to like ride a car in the game.
yes,
And Day was the only one who could actually change the tire. Like
yes.
Son didn't know how to do that. Day actually does take on like I guess the masculine role in the relationship because she
Big
can do a
time.
lot of things that he cannot do simply because of the way that he was raised.
And
Um,
also, she's older than him because
oh
even when
yeah,
she's just
yes,
maybe like a
when
couple years
younger,
older. So
yes,
even when they
yes,
were younger, she provided for him then.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
she's always been the caretaker
Caretaker,
for.
yes. She's like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna take care of you. You're my little meow meow, my little cat, you know. So it's like she's always been in that position, and even when they're
Yes,
older, it's still the same thing. And even
yes,
when it comes to the other, like even like Max and Chanel, Chanel obviously is wearing the pants in that relationship because
absolutely.
Max will just always just follow her lead, pretty
Yes.
much, and that's obvious from the way that he behaves. So it's like Chanel has the power in that relationship as well.
Hmm.
And even Bovie and Paper, like Bovie telling Paper, hey, like kiss me, let's figure out if you're bi or gay. And like, you know, they kiss and then Paper figures out that he's gay. But it's
Yes.
like Bovie's even helping him figure out stuff for himself too. It's like, and it's not this is not happening in like a motherly way, it's happening
Right.
in like a I'm teaching you something that you don't know way. I am taking
Right.
on that kind of like masculine role here
Right.
and directing the conversation and helping you figure out what's actually going on and being direct. Like
Uh-huh.
the women are more direct in the show than the men are. And that's
Absolutely.
simply because the men are the prize here, not the women, which is
That's
why
exactly
everything
what I was thinking.
is
Hmm.
reversed. Like the men are literally the prize. Like the women are
Absolutely.
fighting and competing for these men. And so that's why the communication is so different and stuff like that compared
Right.
to like other dramas. That gender swap thing is very apparent here
Very
because
much
of the
so.
situation.
And I also notice a lot, especially regarding Paper and Chanel, about expectations, especially societal expectations. And you see that so often reflected in real life still here.
Yeah.
That, with Paper, him being gay, and of course, like, was
Mm.
not understanding what what his sexuality was. And of course, there's no way for him to express on the farm. But of course, the farm is conditioning, like, you must marry this woman of
Yeah.
whoever quote unquote
Yeah.
wins you, and that is it. That is all the value you get put into for your life. But
Exactly.
that's the pigeonhole he's being put into, and a lot of people have that in real life now. The same thing with Chanel. We're expecting you to marry a certain man that I dictate, this arranged marriage. Essentially, it is an arranged marriage from her standpoint. Yes, she still has to
Yeah.
his hand. She has to still win the chance to be with him, but it's still
Hmm.
like, I've already
It's
handpicked that
you.
man. Hmm.
It's you.
You
It's gonna
have
be
to
you.
acquiesce to that. And then on the other thing with the elites are the ones that get the best and the fresh out of everything else.
Yeah.
And then also the lotto winners is all political because they had said it up front that, because it was 50. I guess it was like there was 50 contestants, and I think five of them
Yes.
were lotto winners. And
Yes.
um But even with that, it was just more as a show for ratings for the show. They weren't
Yeah,
really going to have any chance to win them anyway. The elites always got the men to, I guess,
yeah,
their line, their superior line on. So it
exactly.
goes to show political wise that the lesser fans are not supposed to have that expectation of getting
Yeah,
or improving their life statuses either.
yeah,
I'm like, I
yeah.
didn't realize it was going to be this way. I thought it was just going to be some cutesy little
Yeah,
game show.
because you see Ready, Set, Love and all the colors, and you
Uh-huh.
think happy, right? But there's this dark undertone that you don't
Very,
expect
very
as
so.
you're watching it.
I
So
was like,
it's
what in the
more
Hunger Games
interesting.
is this? Like, it's game
I was
time.
like, what's really going on here? But yeah,
Yes,
I mean, it was a really, really good TV show, and I was really impressed by it.
yes,
Like I said, that anime mix with all the dystopian stuff going on at the same
yes,
time, and the anti-establishment, nature of it as well. Like
yes.
it was so well written, so well executed, and also it wasn't predictable. Like you didn't know what you was gonna happen. Like six
Mm-hmm.
episodes, run for like an hour, or so, and you just had no clue what was gonna happen. Like
Right.
it was truly a good show, and I liked all the characters. I felt like they were all really well fleshed out as well. Even the ones where you're like, I'm not exactly sure how to view you. Like eventually, they also seem to have something deeper going on. People like
Right.
Matt. So yeah, I mean, I would recommend this show to people, and I would
100.
say that you should definitely go and watch it. Like it won't even take that
It's
much of your
short.
time.
It's short, like an hour. The last episode was like an hour and 20, but most of them average
Yeah,
about like an hour,
an
hour.
hour each. Yeah,
Yeah.
hour 15. Aside from like the last episode, but it was really good, and it's one of those shows that definitely can have. I can see it having a few seasons. To be honest, I think
Thank
there's still
you.
so much to say about the whole, the underground thing going on, the control these people have over their lives, and like the freedom that they're looking for as well. And how some people even within that system don't exactly want to escape it, like Almond. Like there's
Right.
still so much to explore. And I really do hope we get a season two because this is one of the best Thai dramas I've seen. Like I mean, there are a lot of Thai dramas that I watch anyway, but like this
Yes.
one is particularly good. Like it's yeah, very, very well done.
I will say like this is probably like this is not the norm kind of like Thai dramas that I've ever seen. Because
Mhm.
a lot of them kind of felt a lot of them, especially in the early like 2000s, 2010s, kind of follow like a certain kind of like same kind of tropes and stuff. And so like this was completely different. Like this could be like I wouldn't be surprised if this was swapped with like a J drama. You can swap this out with any
Yes,
other kind of different country, and I think it will still apply and
it would still work. It
it'll
would still work
still
out.
work across the board. But I'm so glad that at least like that Thailand got the chance to do it in this way. Especially
Yeah,
I think it being connected with Netflix, I think that helped it
it
out,
helped a lot, I think, too. The
especially the
production
budget.
value was very good. You could tell they had a budget to be able to do everything they wanted to do. I mean, like even the games, like the way the games look, the way they could go to
Was
different locations
really
for each
good.
game, it was really good. I was like invested even in the games. And the
Absolutely.
games were quite creative and fun too. Like some of the games were like, we're gonna make a meal, but you have to like find the ingredients for the meal and like dress up as the ingredient for the
Oh
meal
my
and
gosh.
then run,
Almond
and then
drove
you have to
me
take a picture
nuts.
afterwards.
I swear, Almond drove me nuts because each 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 of the guys, and there's five guys total, but
Yeah,
we only really focus on like
on
three
like
key
three
points.
of them:
Or, yeah,
K-pop, Almond, and Sun. Yeah,
and Sun and like Max sprinkled in there, and there's
yeah,
like
France a
I
little
think
bit.
Jin and stuff like that.
Jin,
But
yeah, Jin
Jin
is
is
the
like
joke of the bunch. He's the one you're
he's
not supposed to take seriously. So
he's that, and he's like the conspiracy theorist. He's like the smart
yeah,
brain.
yeah.
So he's the science guy. Almond is the cook, but in this thing of cook, which was his wheelhouse of picking up the ingredients, he's up there like, okay, so if I take this ingredient, carry the one, da 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 da, and like he was taking his sweet time while everyone is able to pick up the ingredients that belongs in this particular um
Dish.
tray dish and taking his sweet time. And Day is like, if I don't get to eat, I'm gonna be on you. Like, why? All
Yes,
right, don't
because
play
that
with
particular
me.
game, if they didn't win, they didn't eat. And Dave was like, I have to eat. I
Yes,
like food.
and they're
I am not going to
disqualified.
starve
That
for you.
team is disqualified because
Yes, their
he's
team
like, you're
disqualified.
not gonna have me miss this game. I have to stay in here for my sister. Don't mess with me. And he's just like, oh, she's angry at me. I'm like, Yeah, because you're the cook. This is supposed to be your wheelhouse, and everyone's
He's
able to
supposed to be good
like.
at it, and he absolutely flops. And it's like, how?
And
How,
then
dude?
Son is
How?
just like, get that, just pick that up, pick that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Son is just like, because after that, Son had seen the necklace, and so he's just like, I need her to stay in this game because I need to get to the I need to realize or I
Oh,
need to find out if that's her or not. And so,
yes,
uh,
yes.
yeah,
Oh,
so
and
it's
do you know
so
what's
good.
so funny about Son? Like, Son kind of reminds me a little bit of the million when the phone rings, because there's a point where Alma goes to him and is like, "So do you like Day?" And he's just looking at Alma like,
Yes, yes, spell it out. Please spell it out.
he's like, "I don't feel like I can say something, and I do like her, but like." He's just looking at Alma like, and then later on he's like, "Sorry, Almond, I did like her. Don't know why I didn't say anything." I'm like,
Right. It's I get like where it came after because I think it was like
yeah,
was it after their date? Was that when
after
that
their
happened?
date, yeah,
And so he was still kind of on the fence with her, but I'm like, but even still, that night after their disastrous date, she goes into the kitchen and she meets Almond there, and Almond cooks her up
yeah, it
a
cooked,
meal and
yeah, a
stuff. But
meal,
he sees her and he was about to go and talk to her. So I'm like, you have feelings then, and regardless on how badly you rated her
yeah,
on the date, because you rated
exactly,
her down. And so,
exactly,
and so I'm just like, you could have stated then. It's just like, yeah, I also have feelings for her too. But it's just like at this time, let the best man win. Let it be at that.
let it be that. But no, he decided to just kind of like stare at Almond and not say anything.
Yes.
What is with these male leads not opening their mouths and saying how they feel? Like what?
See,
Like
I don't understand. It's not that hard to say, like, yes, that's it. That is it. That's all you
they'll
need.
get angry later
That's
on when the female lead is like, "Oh, I didn't know you liked me," and they were like, "Wasn't it obvious? Like, you never said anything. How was I supposed to know? You also rated me a 4 after
right.
our date. How was I supposed to think that you liked me?"
Right.
Piece
And
of
I get
leaves.
also like from his standpoint, it's just like you're coming off as being inauthentic. And she was,
Yeah, she was.
but she dished it back to her. She's just like, but you're on this show, like, and you have all these brand deals and all this other stuff where you've already been
Yeah,
farmed to be this character that is not authentically yourself either.
exactly. So
So,
why are you blaming me for being
right,
inauthentic?
I'm playing the game like you are. Exactly
Exactly.
how you are.
But you were judging me harshly for it because you were trying to like get to know me without even trying to tell me that. Like I had no clue how you felt. Like it wasn't completely obvious because you act pretty cold around me, and so I was just
Right,
trying to do what I do best. Like
right.
I, you know, so
Don't
it,
hate don't hate the player, hate the game. That's
hate
all
the
you
game. Exactly. That's literally what she was trying to like explain to him. And I'm like, that's why I reminds me like when the phone rings a little bit because there's that same like miscommunication and like being scared to speak and then getting mad when you didn't know certain things. It's like, well, if you don't speak, you don't get anything. Like if you don't
Yes.
do anything, you don't get anything. So that's what's going on here too. And I'm like,
And and I have something to talk to you about that off screen too, but oh my god. And so and that's the thing. It's like it's the simplest things of just opening your mouth and just saying certain words of
yes,
because the other thing that the shoe had dropped on that one was because she had gone out on a date with Almond because Chanel had picked Sun, and so
yeah,
they were going off for a date, and her and Almond
yeah.
went off on a special date, and they were
Mm.
doing this weird dance. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know why.
it was such a weird dance break. I was like, what am I watching right now? What's going on?
I'm about to say like
Like,
she didn't drink because we were just like she's not drunk.
yeah,
She,
yeah, she's not
she
drunk. She just decided to randomly have a dance break. And
yeah,
then when she realizes who Sun is in the middle of the dance break, she's like, she just kind of like stops. And I was like, are you good? She's like, mm. I'm thinking about the fact that I know Sun. I'm like, this is
yeah.
why it's been so awkward between us.
Yes, but it's like
And
that wouldn't have been pointed out until Almond had said, "Oh, Sun has the exact same thing." So I'm just like, if
exactly,
he
yeah.
didn't say that,
Say
how
that,
else would
then
we have
maybe
gotten that? You know?
yeah, I feel like it would have taken like 3 more episodes to figure out who he is or something like that
And then we'll
without
go into
Almond
season
pointing
two.
that
I
out.
don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Then season 2, and then it ends, you know? Because I'm like, if Almond hadn't said that, it would take her a while to find out that's
Right.
that same little boy. Like, I don't.
And
Ugh.
and that's why I'm just like, that's why I just don't understand if he had, because I would have also started bringing out that necklace, seeing it around her neck. I would have been like
Yeah.
wearing it to where she's like, oh, you have that necklace. Are you the boy that? Are you Meow Meow? Yes. That
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
this would have already ended in episode 2. This would have been done.
Oh, it would have been done. But like because I don't know why writers like writing melodies in a way that like just has them just like like being really like shut lip. And I'm like, but let's be honest, the episodes would actually be like significantly shorter if you could just
Right.
open them up and said, hey, your necklace, I have the same necklace.
Yes. I mean, even
I
in
mean,
Parent Trap, it didn't take that long. Like,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on, work it
And
out.
like I feel like they could have
So,
probably spent more time on the whole anti-establishment theme of
yeah,
the show had they just gotten that out of the way a lot quicker too. Because you
yeah,
could have spent like 4 episodes talking about that. Since I feel like that is actually the main plot of the show anyway. It
right,
really is the anti-establishment theme, in spite of how colorful the show looks.
right.
So I'm like, you could spend more time on that and then still probably had enough plot for like a season 2.
Right.
Just saying.
And
You know,
I'm like, and I love how like you were correct on that because I love how the colors are good and bright, but it's almost a facade of
it's
what
a
is
facade,
actually
yeah.
dark, and that's really dark and very colorless
Yeah.
and very very sterile environments in there. I also had loved how they did do the color choices where in the game shows is very bright and all
Yeah.
to bring you into this world, and then you have the farm that's very like the houses are white and they're
Yeah.
geometrical shaped and very very uniformed.
Yeah.
But it's very but you also have like this yellow bright aura around it,
Yeah.
sunshine and stuff. I'm like, it feels like it's manufactured very
But
much, very
exactly.
fake. And then
Exactly.
you get into the city, it like it feels like Arkham for some reason, or it just feels like Gotham
Yeah.
City.
You
It's
got
very
some, yeah.
dark, very cyberpunk kind of vibe.
Cyberpunk, exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
so I love that different kind of aspects to it. And of course, when they're on, it's not the farm at the end. I forget where it is, the underground, but they're pretty much like in this little enclosure field where they're
Yeah.
growing their own crops and there's like waterfalls and stuff where they're
It just
happy.
looks very
Sunshine.
clean and beautiful and
Yes,
natural
and
compared to
free.
what they've been, going through and come from, sort of thing. Because
Yes.
even where they grew up outside in the city didn't look that, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
nice compared to
Right.
where they are at the end with the nature and the waterfall and just even the whole like hippie attire, like the flower, ring and the way
Yes.
they're dressed, like they have free flowing clothes. They just look like they feel and they
Free.
are free,
Yes. And
Yeah.
I think also because I think it shows the dichotomy of between people who live outside of that, who are a part of the underground versus the people who are in the city. They
Yeah.
are still not as free, but the
As
people
the
who live on
people
the farm
underground.
are even more imprisoned. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah. It's
Very
like
brilliant.
it's almost like a human factory farm is like
Yes.
the farm, and the city is like the kind of like the ordinary people, kind of like the capital in the Hunger Games
Yes.
versus the people like kind of like in the games. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you leave, it's like the end of Mockingjay Part Two, the film where they're like on the field and they have a baby and they just look happy and it's like that
Right.
kind of vibe, where it's
Yes.
like I'm finally actually free and like everything is over. Well, it's not over really, but I mean we
Right.
think it is, but.
Well, I
That's
do
like season
love
two.
about what I do love about this one over the Hunger Games because the one thing I will from a Hunger
Yeah.
Games thing, the one thing I could not stand was her just she didn't technically choose PETA. The choice was made for her because Bill
Yeah.
left. And so it wasn't like a thing of her just like I'm choosing to be here with you.
Yeah.
Like you're here
No.
with me, so let's just make the best of it.
Yeah.
When they chose the man she loved,
She
not
wanted,
because of
yeah.
the game or anything like that, because she legitimately wanted to be with.
Yes. Because
That's
I remember
what.
like Alma was talking about, oh, we can make the best of this. Like we'll try and get to know each other. I know you love Sun, but just, do your best to like love me as best as you
Right,
can. And you can see Dave's face is like, I don't think that's gonna be possible because I
right,
literally only love Tom and nobody else. So
right.
I don't know how we're gonna do that. And you can see how happy she is at the end that she's finally with the person she loves. And
Yes,
it's beautiful because she, as you said, she really did choose him. Hunger
yes,
Games, like you said, I mean, Katniss didn't really ever choose Peter. It's just, Peter
yes,
was just kind of there. and Peter loved her, but I mean,
Yeah.
she wouldn't have looked Peter twice if Gail was there. Like, if Gail had been there instead of Peter, okay, like, it's kind of like
Right.
her original
Well,
choice, but no, no, no,
well,
no, no.
the thing about Katniss, especially then Mockingjay, she's just going back and forth. But it seems like she only turned to Peter or turned to Gale when Peter wasn't available, when Peter was
Yeah.
by the Capitol, and then she was like, "Oh, Gale." And then as soon as Peter comes back, Peter,
You know,
girl, girl.
she could
And
never
so
make a
it's like,
decision about that. She was like,
but
I'm
it's
not
like,
sure.
but it's like I get it, and especially since I'm like she's like 16, 17.
Yeah, just
Give
like
her grace.
her
And
brain hasn't fully developed yet.
it hasn't. And a lot of them, I was thinking that they were going to be like teens and stuff like that. But I think like Son is 25. So I'm placing
Yeah,
Day
Son is
about like
25. Day is
26,
older than
27.
him.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all in like their 20s. These are like
Uh-huh.
adults. So I mean, the anti-establishment themes are even stronger then because it's like, well, they're adults now. You know, they really do want their freedom. They've lived
Right.
their whole lives under this whole facade, and now they finally want to break free. The only one who doesn't want to break free is Almond, and I think he's the oldest out of the bunch because I mean he
He
looks
is.
about 30.
Because I think
So
the actor, his name, he's about like 33. So
yeah,
give or
33 and like that, yeah. So
so
I'm
he's
like,
old enough to
you
know better, but I think
he's
it's
still
also
so
he's scared of knowing the truth outside of
yeah,
because that will also second guess his entire life will be a lie then, and that's really
yeah,
hard to reconcile. And especially since like technically with him, he's never had the struggle. That's never
yeah.
been a
He's
struggle for
had it
that.
really easy. And
Mhm.
I wonder what happiness would look for Almond as well, because well, he can't have Day now because he knows that she's with Son. So I'm like, what does happiness look like for you? Because Max seems to have found it, Chanel seems to have found it, everybody else seems to have found some form of happiness. Um, but you, I'm not sure. I'm not
Well,
sure what
because they
happens. Even
captured him back at the end, and they was like starting to interrogate him. So it makes me wonder if from this will he turn heel? Will he be a bad guy from here? I don't know. Will it make it better?
yeah.
I don't know.
That's that's not impossible. And then even I'm curious about Bovie too, because I'm like, Bovie's been like kind of living her entire life for Chanel as like a
Uh-huh.
gift. So it's like now that Chanel is doing her own thing and everything, what are you gonna do for you? Because
Right.
Bovie really never really did anything for herself. And we never saw her do that in the show. So it's like, what does happiness look like for Bovie as well? Like I'd be
Right.
so curious. I'm like, well, you know you can't have Max, so like again, like what's happiness for you? So I feel like she could turn into a villain because the way she acted in that the witch game scared me a little bit. Like Ruby terrified me. She
Yes.
was like,
I mean, she went on like wide-eyed, psychotic,
yeah,
like little Bovie, and it doesn't help that she's wearing pigtails now. And I remember I was
yeah,
like, it reminded me of that red light, green light doll
yeah.
from the
The
Squid Games
doll.
season one.
That's literally
That's
what
what
she
she
looks like.
reminded
She,
me of.
oh God, that is
And
literally what
like,
she, I was like, oh,
because I think that was like, what was it? Not Wolf Among Us. That's like another video game, but it's like it's kind of like Among Us. It's kind of like that kind of thing where you kind of suss out the witches and stuff like that. You're playing like
yeah,
Gretel, and she's like pretty much like the witches. There's three witches in play, and they will take them out, like paralyze you to where you're
yeah.
dead, and you get locked up in jail. And I thought that was well done. Everyone's in jail is wearing like a halo.
The Halo thing, yeah.
That's really cool. I really loved like all of the, I guess like the production of the show. I thought it was so well done.
So well done. Like I rated the show a 10 on MDL. I rarely do that. I rarely do 10s, but I really liked the show. I give more like fours and sixes than I do 10s. So like this one is
Yes,
good. This one
it
is
was
golden.
surprisingly good. I thought it was going. I might by the time I was watching episode one, I'm just like, okay, this is really decently good. And then like we started binge watching it
Yeah.
together towards the end. I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is so much
Really good.
more. It impacts so much towards the end, but it tells. I find it interesting that it tells such a great, succinct story that a lot of other dramas can't do in 40.
That
Not
struggle
different
to actually keep
shots.
up the plot. And it
Yeah,
only has 6 episodes. I watched 40 episodes dramas that really didn't have anything going on and didn't have to be 40 episodes. So
Lost You
this one
Forever.
impressed me.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, that one,
Sorry.
110% Lost You Forever. You didn't even need to have 2 parts. That one didn't even need to have 2 parts. But hey, let's just drag it along anyway.
Let's just go
What
ahead and
the
do that. I think that's the reason why they're starting to shorten a lot of these dramas. Where
hell? Yeah, they're too
I'm like,
long.
if you could do this succinctly like this, then I'll give you an absolute pass for that. But just don't
Yeah,
butcher down an existing drama for that. Just start fresh from here.
yeah. From the yeah. But now they're editing other dramas that are
Because
already have already been made to cut
one
it
of
down
them,
to
because isn't there
the
like
new
one
showrunner
is an
or
Esther
whatever.
U drama that was like
Yes.
36 episodes
I,
and they're cutting it down to
yeah,
like 16? I'm like,
yeah. I'm like, can you not do that? Don't do that. I think
no.
that's Ski into Love, and I'm like, that's the one everybody's really looking forward to. If you butcher that, oh God, you
Like,
go.
of
Oh,
all the effort, because I'm like, now it's going to take more effort to edit it down to succinctly tell it in a good way in 16. Y'all should have just left it alone, let it play however it is, and then whatever future projects y'all have going
after
forward,
that, then you start doing
do
it from
do
there.
that. Because therefore,
You
you
have to
already
be
have your set
intentional from the
parameters.
beginning.
Right. So I
Like
just think so that's why I'm just like, I
it,
don't know how it's gonna go. But if anything else, I don't know how the C drama government will feel about if they did something akin to this where they release like a few episodes at a time.
yeah,
How to gauge with this. But I'm absolutely looking forward to season two. Hopefully they get
yeah.
I think
I
it's
do. I do hope they do too. I'm like season two,
please
please.
do, please do.
Please. Like I'm gonna run when it drops. I will run. I'm like,
So
oh my Lord, is it here? Is it finally here? Like, yeah, here. Yeah.
yes,
Like
yes. I'm
this
like,
is good, guys. You have to go watch this show if you have not
please
already.
do.
Go watch it. It's absolutely worth your time. Like not worth time at
Absolutely.
all.
And of
Like
course, with
six
that,
episodes?
it's an easy knockout. You'll finish it in an afternoon. And on top of that, of course, the more people that watch it, more interest, and with more interest, there's going to be a
You
better
get a season
guarantee of
two.
season
So
two.
and it
So
definitely ended on a cliffhanger, so we kind of need a season two. So
we
please.
do. We need to finish this out because she's not done. Mrs. Kwan isn't
Oh,
done.
not done. Or
She is
she's got some stuff
four
up her leg.
because
She
the
wants to
jump
do
is 4 years later, and she's still angry 4 years later.
years
So
later. So that tells you a
that's what it
lot, doesn't
does.
it?
But
Crazy. Yeah, it's kind of it.
well,
All right.
I guess we're all just I guess like done
That
discussing this one, but we
discuss.
have to find
Yeah.
another one to watch.
Yes, to watch. Yeah, yeah. Because I don't think I'm even watching anything like at the moment because oh no, I'm watching Perfect Match. That's what I'm watching right now. I forgot.
Yeah,
I was like 2 episodes this morning of it. That one, people are being really like overly critical of Perfect Match, which I do find odd because like what dramas with toxic and leads before. So it's like I don't know why this one is making people kind of get their claws out a bit more. And even saying that, like the male leads are not that bad. Like stuff is happening, but like I'm like it's not like we haven't seen any of this before, so I don't really know what's going on
right.
there. But
I think
I'm enjoying it.
I think it's just a matter of how some people just want to be mad just to be mad, honestly.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, there's legit reasons, and you can be critical of something but still enjoy it. It's like, but I wish you
mm.
would change this aspect of it. I mean, I'm feeling that same way about when the phone rings, which I'm
Oh
currently
yeah,
recapping
yeah,
on my channel
yeah.
and stuff. And
I
uh,
do.
there's just so much to do. I think maybe I might do like an overview discussion when I'm finally done with it.
Yeah,
It's going to take me a while
yeah,
because I'm only halfway through, but I got
yeah.
feelings about a lot of things already by episode 6. But yeah, I guess like if you can, I guess
Just
come follow me on my channel. I'm currently doing a bunch
yeah.
of stuff. I've already just posted episode 5, and I'm
Yeah,
currently
when the
doing
phone
episode
rings,
6.
go check out her
So
channel. The editing is amazing. The videos are really, really fun to watch. You can get really engaged in them, and the recaps are very detailed. So, if you want
thank
a really
you,
good recap of when the phone rings, go watch the episodes because.
thank you,
And also, she hasn't finished watching it yet, and she's already like predicting things that happen, and like she's very clearly very aware of what's going on with this
I
character.
think because a lot of it you see in so many different
Dramas, right? Yeah,
dramas,
it's
and
got
so
like
it's
every
very
single trope in there.
And so
Yeah,
and sometimes just like when you just get that vibe from a character, it's like no.
Like, no, this is weird. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
So,
absolutely. But yeah, I'm gonna let you know offline how I feel about current. Like, I'm only halfway through
yeah.
episode 6 now, and I got feelings. So
Tell me
every time I
everything.
male boy, I have feelings. I have so many.
Oh,
So,
God.
so yes, please come follow my channel, and of course, please
Absolutely.
subscribe to Vicky Raves. She's wonderful at what she does because
Thank
she's the one
you.
who
Thank
pushed me to
you.
do this. So please come and watch both of our stuff, and we will have more content
Absolutely.
together sometime soon too.
Definitely. We do a lot of collaborations. So you can check out our Tale of Love and Loyalty one, which we have on my channel, on Dramatic Thoughts. So check
Yes.
out our channels and you can watch our collabs a lot more. So yeah.
Oh yes. So everyone have a great day, and it is
Have a
just
great day.
like
Bye bye, everybody.
fun. Bye.
Bye. Bye.